Hi everyone, my name is Becky Camus and I'm excited today to show you my labor of love for EDTC 5153, the website that I produced at the end of this 8-week course. But before we get into it, obviously there were several steps that we all took along the way to develop our websites into what they currently are. And I just want to go back through those and kind of talk through the steps, starting with the learner or the audience analysis that we did. This wasn't too hard for me. The audience for downlinks, which are conversations between education organizations and the space station, are educators, typically in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And since I'm a former math teacher, it really wasn't hard to put myself in those shoes and think about what I would want from the educator's perspective. So that was definitely really helpful. And helpful for me too, because it also made me stop thinking about downlinks from the implementation side and think about it from from the other side of the house. The next thing that we did was our graphic organizers, kind of our brainstorms, thinking through our topics. And this was really beneficial. Again, there are things that I care about on my side as the implementer, the facilitator of these types of events, and there are things that are more important to the people applying for downlinks and then actually hosting the downlinks. So this really helped me think through what I care about, what they care about, and what we both care about. Because at the end of the day, the website is for the audience. It's not for me. It's going to be beneficial to me. Should hopefully cut down on some emails and some phone calls of folks asking questions. That's the ultimate goal, is to give them all the information they need in one place. But it really helped to put pen to paper. I do like doing some brainstorms and some mapping and things like this. It helps me group my thoughts. So this was a good exercise. And then after we did this, we did our website graphic organizers. Now this, I'll be honest, is a little more of a stretch for me. I've designed a few websites, not too many. I'm certainly no expert, but I tend to like things to happen a little more organically. I may do a little rough outline sketch, but this is a lot more formal than what I'm used to in terms of planning out a site or really planning out anything. I'm an organic writer too. I don't do I don't do outlines and things like that. I just start writing and then I revise, and that's typically my approach to these things: is do it and then revise it and then revise it and then revise it until you get your final thing. I will say that looking back at this graphic organizer, I was certainly optimistic and a little. There's a lot going on. This is certainly not the website I ended up with. There are not that many pages on my website, as you'll see later. So this was me reaching, and so I did go back and revise. There are a lot of the key headings are still there. Definitely you'll see the what is a downlink, the timeline, the proposal form, and the additional resources. Those are the categories that I stuck with, but they're just I don't know. I'm still tossing around whether or not some of the pages should be split up into multiple pages, or if it's better just to put everything in one place. So I'd appreciate any feedback that anybody has on that. After we did our site maps, it was on to usability testing. This was really helpful for me. I brought in a science teacher that I know and watched them play around on the website and wrote down what happened, got their thoughts and some questions that they had afterwards, and I was furiously scribbling notes and had some takeaways. And then the second person I brought in is actually an informal educator who works at a local science center and happens to do website design on the side. So that was really helpful to me, because we had a great discussion after the fact in terms of what he liked, what he didn't like, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and I did make some updates based on the feedback that I got for both of them. There are some things that I didn't change for various reasons, but this was a really, really useful exercise. And it wasn't too time consuming, but actually watching somebody interact with the content, I put myself in their shoes and think about how I get annoyed or upset or frustrated at websites sometimes, and I could actually see them when they found something they liked, when they found something that they got bored with, and it really helped me figure out my website. So back to the website. So this is all about proposing for a downlink. I do like the first page. I've got some feedback that it's a little stark. The black on white, that's definitely high contrast. I like it because it stands out. Talk to astronauts. That's powerful. That grabs you instantly and makes you want to learn more. The one issue I do have with this page is if you scroll down, and I was locked into this as a template. I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to make this big giant white space go by. So I put a little bit of a description down here, but this is really not what I want. If I could cut this page off right about there, I think that would be perfect. And folks have a couple of different ways they can navigate once they get to the website. We've got navigation up here. I don't like that it doesn't have all the links up here and you kind of have some drop down things that happen, but that's a space issue. Or they can click on the Learn More button that will take them into the content. So right off the bat, we want them to know what a downlink is. From the first page, they get it that it's talking to the astronauts, but we want to very succinctly get them to understand what a downlink is. So you have a brief description. It talks to them about submitting a proposal, which would take them to another part of the website. I tried to embed links throughout. I'm a clicker. When I come to links, I click. And some of my the folks that I tested on, one of them is also a clicker, the usability testing, and so I wanted to make sure that folks had different ways of navigating through my website. I also thought it was important to pretty quickly put a video example, so this is one of my multimedia elements, to very quickly put an example of what a downlink was on there. Now this is a long video. It's 22 minutes because a downlink is 20 minutes long, and this is a produced video from the school. But it was really important, I thought, for folks to see what it looks like. So within a couple of minutes, folks get a general idea. There's the kids standing there to ask the questions. Neither of my usability participants watched the whole video, nor would I expect folks to, but I think if they watched for about 2 or 3 minutes, they'd get a general sense of what it's like and what they can expect on their day of the downlink, and I think that's really powerful. So hopefully by this point they're hooked, they know what a downlink is, they want a downlink, and now they have to figure out what their next steps are. I did want to include a timeline. I think it's really important to include a timeline. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm frustrated that my graphic has shifted to the right. It has been in the center the whole time, so that's something I want to go back, look at, and revise. But I did put together a really simple graphic so folks kind of understand the flow of how things go. It can be a really lengthy process in terms of when we put out a call for proposals until folks have their downlink and move on to things after that. I'm talking upwards of a year in some cases, depending on timelines and things like that, and some people it's more than a year if their date slips out. But these are kind of the main 12 steps from the time NASA puts out their request for proposals until the very, very end, where we part ways and we expose them to other NASA resources and opportunities that they haven't been exposed to already. And I wanted to make sure again that folks had an opportunity to scroll to learn more about each of these little milestones, and also again note the links, which I think the blue stands out nicely. Blue is kind of the go-to color for hyperlinks. So I think that's nice, and this is one of those pages where I was like, that is a lot of text and a lot of scrolling. Nobody really seemed to have a problem with it in the usability testing. If I did it again and had a little more control over the website, this is obviously a free version, so what you can and can't do is limited. I think I would make each of these buttons clickable, or even so when you hovered over them, a little box popped up that gave you a description. I think that would be more effective than such a long running line of text. So that's definitely something I would do differently in the future. So then moving on to the proposal itself, because that's what really matters for the educators. It gives them a little bit of information about how to get started. It also invites them to take a quiz, and is the first time they can really start downloading a copy of the proposal form. So there is an interactive quiz on here. They can take it and really find out if their organization is a really strong fit for a downlink or not. This is actually the third different website I used to create a quiz, and I'm still not happy. This one has ads. I don't like that. I know it annoys me, so I know it will annoy other people as well. So there is that. But I was never able to find exactly what I was looking for. Given the time, I could probably write some HTML code to do my own, but it has been so long since I've done something like that, that it really was just outside the scope and scale of what I was able to do for this website. But moving on, if this website does become something very useful, that was something I would absolutely want to consider doing. Is writing my own developing my own quiz and writing the source code. I think there's so much out there that people have already done and posted that I could take somebody else's code and make it my own, and not have to put too much effort into actually thinking through the initial code design. So the proposal is really split into three sections: education, outreach, and logistics. You can click on those here, or again, we've got the navigation up here. So we definitely want to leave the page. Quickly going to education, we try to really quickly give them an idea of what we're looking for in the proposal, provide ideas, give them helpful hints, cover frequently asked questions. Most of the time it's how am I going to get evaluated on this, right? That's always how you want to do it. And another thing that I would probably do going back to this website is there's no place to navigate to from the education page. I had a hard time deciding, should it be a parallel flow, go to education and then to logistics and then to outreach? Should they have the opportunity to connect to a bunch of different things? And I never really settled on a solution, so my solution was to do nothing, which is not the right solution. So I think there's opportunities to make the website a little easier to navigate here for sure, and you'll see it again on logistics and outreach that there is really no way to get off the page, with the exception of coming back to the top nav. Logistics is all about connecting to NASA for the downlink, even all the way up to transporting students. Again, they can get a copy of the proposal form. I love that it opens in a new window. It's a PDF form, so they can print it or have it open so that while they're going through this website, they can take and make notes. I think it's really important for links to open in a new window, because if it didn't open in a new window, they would be off your website with no way of navigating back onto your website. And I think people get lost, especially clickers like me. I'll click on a link, I get taken to another website, and then I can't even tell you what website it came from. So I thought that was a really important thing to make sure I incorporated. Again, we have the helpful hints, some frequently asked questions, and then I did a voice thread to really talk through the technology options. When we explain technology to people, we have about an 8-page document that we send them, and that's just entirely too much to put on a website. So I did a quick voice thread, which I'll start playing, but it's just really quick and goes through the 3 different connection options and talks about the technical checkout. So it's the technology quick, fast, and dirty. Obviously, there are more details, but it will get them to understand really, really quickly whether or not they have the applicable technology. And then for outreach, we do want to talk a little bit about how you get the word out. Again, very similar design. We talk helpful hints, we talk frequently asked questions, but again, with no navigation, this page is very static. And then the last thing we wanted to point them to are additional resources. When you're preparing your proposal, there are lots of great resources out there that you can use to develop your education plan or even help you with your outreach plan. So we wanted to put some of those resources out there for them. Again, these all open new links, or links in new windows, which I think are very, very important. We also included the discussion board, which is the interactive element of the website. Folks coming to this website are going to be very interested in hosting a downlink, and there'll be educators. Educators love to share their thoughts and ideas, so I'm hopeful that this discussion board would be a great place for folks that have either hosted a downlink or want to host a downlink to post some of the things that they did to really help spur others in their thinking as to what they can do. So really that's it. It's a pretty simple website. I think there's opportunity for growth. As I discussed, I think there are opportunities for additional edits and things to improve it. But for 8 weeks, I feel really happy with my end result, especially knowing that I made it on a free website design software type page. So thanks everybody for listening, and congratulations to all for completing the class. I look forward to seeing what everybody else did.